Okay. Why am I not streaming? Let's check this out here. Skip. Okay. Put that over there. Good morning, everybody on YouTube. Oh, come on. Where is my chat? Okay. All right, we don't have anything yet to trade. We're just gonna wait for setup. Indexes are kind of choppy and flat. So we're just waiting. We're just watching now. Just waiting. Everything is kind of still chopping around. YM just chopping around in this area. NQ just chopping around in this area. CL is bullish. Gold, it's bouncing off this resistance area. Well, we just wait. That's what we do. We wait. It's like we wait to get paid. The only thing we have C2s on is gold and crude oil. And copper. Copper's not doing anything either. And Q is right at the open. The purple line is the open line. So on gold, we don't have the multiple time frame Laguerre green yet. Just be patient and wait for setup on something. Let's see, yesterday we didn't get a setup till what time? It's 10 o'clock. So you look at the indexes, look, there's flat. They're really flat. NQ is still bouncing around in this area. YM dropped down to this support level. Actually, this needs to go right there. The MA diff is at 45. If we break here, we need to get a pullback candle. If we break this pivot. But right now, YM is right at the open again. And Q is a little below it. Nice to have a C2 on YM here, but we don't have it. See, now the MA diff is too high. It's at 57. We don't trade above 58. So I have a feeling that this is going to come back right back up into this range. We couldn't take this trade on YM because the MA diff was too high. And this was just one of those cases where the MA diff was high and it went down a little bit further than normally. When we get to the MA diff number, we get a pullback within a couple of candles. This one just happened to go down a little bit further. But just be patient and wait for the right setup, and then we'll take it. The MA diff is how far away from the 50 are we? So certain bar sizes use certain MA diff settings. The MA diff settings are in the drive, the room drive, down here on the bottom, MA diff settings. How's everybody over on YouTube doing? And we wait for setups. Yes, I turned on my swing trade. I hasn't taken anything yet, but nice, Marcy. And Q, the MA diff 78. Figured that was going to happen. How many accounts I'm trading? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. YM is right at the VWAP and at the open. And Q is below the VWAP. So now we have no colored backgrounds on anything. Just be patient and just wait for a setup. And if we don't get a setup, then we don't take a trade. And it's just as simple as that. The NQ went all the way up here and came all the way back down. YM came all the way down here and came all the way back up into this range. I'm going to put this back here now. It's just a quiet, choppy morning. So far, the market hasn't even been open. It's been open 25 minutes. So, this is what we do. We just be patient and we wait. Just think about waiting to get paid. Got nothing yet. Just don't like the volumes. The blue dash, this is the VWAP. And this line here, that's the 50. Yeah, just to say, I have the same using the same ATM. I didn't make one for gold. Oh yeah, I did. All right, there you go. Maybe we could get something here on CL. We just don't have the multiple time frame of the gear green. I mean, this is what we do. We wait until we get a setup, and then we take the trade. And if we don't have a setup, it means the markets are choppy and they're not trending. So we wait. It's like if you had a business, let's say you had a retail store, and you open the store in the morning and you wait. You wait for customers to come in. Well, it's kind of what we do. We open our charts in the morning and we wait for a setup to show. And in choppy markets, that's where most traders lose money. So gold is right up at resistance right now. The MA diff is at 25. We don't trade above 30. So if this breaks out, we're not going to be able to trade it because the MA diff is going to be too high. And this is what happens in choppy range-bound markets. See, now it's too high. And this is going to probably come right back down. Because this move here was 1 second. All these candles, 10:08:07, 10:08:07, 10:08:06. So from here to here was 1 second. So when you see fast move like that, the chances are it's a stop run or liquidity grab, whatever you want to call it. Gold does it a lot, and crude oil does it a lot. That's like I watch to see how fast the candles are forming. So on gold, we're above the VWAP on gold. We're below on the indexes. We're probably above on CL. Yeah. And we have a flat trend line on gold. Excuse me. Yeah, CL is. We have natural gas inventory at 10:30 also. We need the trend line above the 15. We don't have the short-term quant on gold. I figured gold was going to come back down. I mean, look at this chart. This is just came down here to the support, broke this level here, get rid of this, and bouncing off this again. No, we haven't taken any trades so far because we haven't had any setups, Dyson. Dilsons. We only take trades when we have a setup. And if we don't have a setup, we don't take trades. Yeah, I know. I haven't been trading any news trades lately. I am trading natural gas inventory at 10:30. We can't take NQ here because we're not going to trade into these support levels. So we had two pivots, higher time frame support, higher time frame support. YM is coming into that 43,000 level, 44,000 level. They're not going to trade into that. NQ, the MA diff is too high to take a trade. YM, we don't have the multiple time frame of gear red. And we're right at that 44,000 handle. So my guess, it might pop through it and then pop right back up above it. What does it mean? That's the shaded areas here. I know they don't look shaded, but they're shaded areas here. These are from the higher time frame. The pivots are from the current time frame. These are from the higher time frame. Like right here on the bottom here, this is higher time frame support and a pivot inside of it. I don't know what to tell you, Savinas. This is what my lag times are. They're all pretty good. Gold just keeps going up here and then reversing. Right. It's right up here at this area here and just pops up and comes back down. Right now I'm trading gold on a 2510 bar. Peter. Sometimes we usually used to trade it on a 41020 bar. Alright, so we got 5 minutes till crude oil inventory. Not crude oil, natural gas. Maybe. Come on, give us a pullback. Gold. We're buying up close on gold. I really don't want to buy on a red candle. It just turned green. Come on, gold. Oh, I hate when it does this. Come on. Come on, keep going. All right, we got our first profit target. Our stop is at break even. I'm going to move my stop to plus 10 on both contracts. All right, not too bad. That was almost my target. All right, let me see where I'm standing here. $11.14. Turn off the sim accounts. Generate $1,005.32. So export. Workshop. Save. Okay, so you know, guys will know what comes next, right? For me. Got 15 seconds till natural gas inventory. It's coming out now. Wow. What was that? It was fast. I have no idea what happened here. All right, well, nothing happened here. Okay, HWonk. Upload. Yeah, Mark, I say that all the time. But I always say, I'd rather not be in a trade wishing I was than being in a trade wishing I wasn't. So yesterday we did 1,262. Today we did $1,005. Monday we lost 520. So we're up 1,750 for the week. Not great, but it's just so choppy. My profit for my total profit for the day, if I'm up 1,000, I go to sim. Well, today I'm trading 5 accounts, so I made about $200 on each account. If the markets weren't so choppy today, I would probably maybe take another trade. But it's just too choppy. Just not worth it to me. And my plan says when I'm up 1,000 for the day, I go to sim, or more, I go to sim. So I don't break my trade plan. I follow my trade plan. Where else could you make $1,000 in 1 hour? Yes, Dilsons, we have a trade room. I'm on YouTube with you guys, but I'm in the trade room also. So you can talk to Rory, ask Rory about it. YM we trade at 410.20, and CL we trade at 2510. Look at NQ chart. It's just chopping around in this bigger range here now. Look at the YM chart. Same thing. Gold bounced off this twice. And CL was chopping around, now it's dropping. I'll be right back. I'm trading micros. I trade micros also on gold. First of all, 2 contracts at a 13 tick stop is $260. I don't usually trade 5 accounts on gold. And that's kind of an so on a choppy day like this, I probably shouldn't have been trading 5 accounts. But I did, and it worked out. I never go into a trade thinking that it's going to be a loser. I always go into trade with the mindset that it's going to be a good trade. Why would you go into a trade thinking, well, I'm going to lose on this trade, so, you know. And you've been here long enough, Sir Venus, that you know that most trades are pretty high probability trades. We're running, let's see. So we're running a 70, almost 73% win rate with a 3.2 profit factor. So basically 3.2 to 1. We don't have the cross yet of the 15. If this candle closes up, it will be crossed. So if you look at our performance by day, like this day here, this was not a good day. This we probably traded too many accounts this day. But you see, most days we keep our losses around 500. But if I show you this, look, we had a winning day of 5,000 the day before, and the day after we gave back 1,900. But this is kind of an anomaly because if you look over the last 6 months, we haven't had a big losing day like that. And we've had a lot of no trade days, especially in October. But we're doing pretty well so far for this month. We are 2,800. I'm going to check the volumes here. I'm really looking at the volumes are really low. So Venus, I don't know why you're trying to figure out what I'm doing. Why don't you focus more on what you're doing? I know I'm taking a little more risk trading gold. I'm trading micros on my PA accounts. I'm trading some micros and I'm trading full contracts on my other accounts. Normally on gold, I usually don't trade 5 accounts. I know. You know, engineers make the worst traders. Hate to tell you that, Sir Venus. Because you're trying to overanalyze everything. Do like David P does. See setup, push button. See setup, push button. And don't worry about all the engineering stuff. I have the same mindset that you do. I like to know how things work and this and that, but it doesn't work like that in trading. And I had to stop myself from being like that. You know, I don't need to know how everything is working. All I need to know is if I get a setup, I got to take the trade. That's what I know, and that's what I do. I stopped trying to figure out all these things because all they did was detrimental to my trading. Over analyzing is the worst thing you could do in trading. That's like saying, well, how does the AI auto trader work? Right? How does anything work? But I know exactly how you feel, and I know exactly what you're saying, because I'm the same way. Most of my cousins and relatives were engineers, but not me. When you change the markets in the NDT, Peter, okay, so I'm going to open up one of my NDTs. All right. The best way to change the markets on your NDT is through the settings. It's right here. Trying to change it here is not going to show the market. All the ATMs are going to show for all the markets, but not in the NDT. You can't change it. You have to change it from the strategy. I took off those colors, Arthur. So if you look, at my setting, the bias setting, which is the background color, I made all the other colors transparent. And I don't need those colors because we don't trade those colors. We only trade on red and dark pink. So why do I need to have those other colors? On the order type is what you meant? Always use stop limit. But I get it. I understand how some people think. I watch on TV all these shows like How It's Made, all that kind of stuff. I watch all that because I like to learn how things are done. But I don't bring it into trading. Trading is a totally different animal. There's so much to trading that your mental mindset, trading is very mental. It doesn't take a whole lot of physical thing to push a button. Because you can't really say, well, why is YM going up? Or why is YM coming down? Or why did it do that? Or why did it do this? There is no reason why. It just is. My daughter, when she was little, she used to always ask me why. Well, how come, Dad? Why? And, you don't want to. So I would explain to her that certain things there are reasons why, and certain things there are no reasons why. Like saying, okay, on NQ, why did the market stop right here and looks like it's going to go back up? I don't know. It's just the way it is. That's why we always say, we're not here to make trades, we're here to make money. And that's one reason why when I hit a certain profit target for the day, I stop trading live. Because over the years, I found that if I keep trading, the chances are, especially if the markets were better, if the markets were trending, more normal, whatever, yeah, I would probably maybe take another trade or two. But they're not. So I'm just happy with what I got. I was told I went to California to a trading seminar. I don't know, this is maybe 15 years ago. And the guy said to me, you got to know when you've won for the day. He says when you've won for the day and you're happy with what you've made or is in your trade plan, he said, then stop trading and walk away. He says because it's like a casino. Why do the casinos never have win? There are no clocks and no windows in a casino? Because they don't want you to know what time of day it is. And if you're winning, they'll give you free everything to keep you there because they know the chances are you're going to give back your winnings and then some. So they do everything they can to keep you there, right? But trading's different. They don't keep us here. When I feel like I've won for the day or I'm happy with my profits for the day, I stop. Unless the markets are trending and we're having a trending day. Does that make sense to you guys? Gals? Whatever? These days you gotta include the whatevers. All I can say is, why is the NQ going down? Well, because there's more sellers than buyers. That's the only reason why. All right, Greg, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to probably give it another 15 minutes. It's just very choppy. CL just popped to the upside. I don't know why. Oh, because crude oil inventory was today also. I forgot. At 10 o'clock, at 11 o'clock. It wasn't yesterday. I forgot they changed it to today. Crude oil's going up on the news. Yeah, I know. I just forgot about it. I have on my phone alert set for Wednesdays and Thursdays at 10:30, so it reminds me about crude oil inventory. I mean about natural gas and crude oil, but I forgot it was today. I haven't been trading a lot of news trades either lately. They've just been really kind of choppy. So not next week, the following week is Thanksgiving week. So we won't be here on Thanksgiving and probably the Friday after. Usually don't trade that day either. All right, YouTubers, we're gonna say goodbye to you guys. Thanks for coming. If you have any questions, you can always contact Rory. All right.
And what's watching the market chop here? It's very, very choppy. Just very, very flat. Really a dead day right now. The market has not done anything from the morning. Again, I took profits in SMR here, nice profits in SMR. I'm looking to get back into it again, but right now it's just moving sideways. You need to see a break above that pink, the pivot point, the pink line there. QUBT is a decent setup for a stock trade. You would need to trade stock in this most likely. Options not so great, but the stock gapped up pretty nicely here, still holding up okay. Big move up in Cuba today, 42%. And again, just watching, you see the composites just SPY super system just going switching back between bullish and bearish, back and forth. There's no movement here. We get the VWAP right here. The SPY is just below. We get the pivot point right here, another resistance level, and it's a dynamic compression zone. This is just sideways movement in the SPY. Triple Q is very similar, and the IWM, which has been a little bit weaker this morning, but still just going back and forth here. Not much to trade. Again, I'm looking to get into SMR again. Took a nice profit in SMR this morning. Get in at 570 back on the 8th, or 560. Sold at $7 this morning. Now I'm looking to get back in again. Again, we talked about doing a straddle on HEI at 280. It's down to 278 right now, so you can't touch it until it gets to 280. That would be a straddle.
GL come from TechCrunch, AI, Pioneer, Francois, Gillette, names from Google.
Okay, be right back. Step away for just a moment and I'll be back. Market not doing much, so we'll be looking for some opportunities here soon. back again. Had to step away for a minute. I don't think I missed much. SMR, I'm trying to get back into SMR, but I'm just going to wait for it to break above the VWAP, which is not doing, SPY's just not doing it. This is really a very, very flat market here. There's no opportunities for any SPY super system trades at all right now. Just a very, very slow market. See if we get any questions. Let's see. Good grief. What hit SMR earnings? No, there's no earnings in SMR. I don't know what you mean, what hit it. It pulled down this morning on a nice gap up. Where we took profits, actually. We had a nice sell order in there at $7 and got filled right up here, and then it's pulled back. It's just, this stock is fairly volatile. I mean, if you look at the daily chart in SMR, this is not a problem on the 5-minute chart. This is still a beautiful daily chart here. Got a little red candle, but I mean, it tends to move up, compress along the 8, which is the white line right here, and then just moving back up again, trying to pull back to the 8, but still a nice setup on the daily chart. Still like it long here, just waiting for an opportunity to get into it again. Shy? You late again? Hoping I could talk about butterflies a bit. Yeah, I'll talk about it here in just a bit. Not something I talk about a lot. Butterflies are, you have to be really good at technical analysis to make butterflies work for you. They're a good risk reward. They're a great risk reward. You can get them inexpensively, but you got to be able to pinpoint where that stock price is gonna end, where it's gonna close right at the expiration date. That's where most of your money is made, right in the last day or so. Oh, you say OKLO has earnings tonight? Yeah, might affect SMR. Correct. So you took your first one in NVIDIA day yesterday and made 35%. It was nice, but I would love some insight on it. When and how are other tips? Yeah, it's butterflies. Basically what you're trying to do with a butterfly is the way a butterfly works, a standard butterfly, is you pick a strike that you think is where the stock price is going to end. Within reason, approximately where that stock is going to be at expiration date. And what you do is you sell, either calls or puts, but I use calls. You sell 2 calls at that strike price, and then you buy one higher price call and one higher price put, as lower price put. So you've got basically you're selling 2 calls right at where you expect it to end, and then you buy in a call 1 strike above, and you buy in a put 1 strike below, and you're basically trying to have that stock price sit right at the close at the strike price that you've selected. If you do that, when you get into the trade, typically you can usually get in for like $1 spread. You can usually get in for around 20 cents or so. So you got a 5-to-1, and if you go out even wider than that, you can get 10, 15, 20-to-1 on it. But you want the strike price you want the stock price to end at right around that strike price you pick, which means you have to be good at predicting where that stock is going to go. Now you can do it on the indexes, on the SPYs and stuff, and use it on a daily basis. Like on a day like this, doing a butterfly on the SPY today is probably not a bad trade, because of the fact that it's so flat. In other words, you're looking at about 596, a little over 596. You could do a 596 or a 597 butterfly on the SPY today, if it stays flat like this all day long, you'll do fine. But most of the profits are going to be made right in the very last part of the day. So for example, if you're going to try to do a butterfly today on the SPY, it's trading here at around 596, around 596, 597. So you could do a 596, and what you would do is you would sell 2 calls at 596, buy a call at 595, and buy a call at 597. All right, so you're if I look at that now, selling the 596, two calls at 596, buying a 595 and a 597, I've got a $1 spread. It costs right now 19 cents. All right, so if the stock, if it ends up around 596 toward the end of the day, the 19 cents could go up toward $1 pretty quickly. All right, so that's would be a butterfly on the SPY, based on the fact that it's very flat today. All right, that's how you would do it. Selling two calls at 596, buying 1 call at 595 and 1 call at 597, and that's a standard butterfly. Again, one of the members pointed out that OKLO has earnings tonight, and OKLO is in the same space as SMR, so earnings could impact SMR. So if you're out of SMR, to be prudent, you might want to wait till tomorrow and see what SMR does, or maybe just take a couple of contracts today and then wait for what SMR does tomorrow. That's probably a better way to trade it.
On BII being now out with a pressure, SI receives positive opinion from the CHMP and the European Union for electing them in early Alzheimer's disease. BIIB.
The little move over the VWAP here to use as well. And they got the pivot point right above that white line. Going to be resistance, likely. Welcome to all the YouTube folks that are joining in the room right now. Welcome. Appreciate you coming in to take a look. Again, we're trading very little today. The market is pretty dead. It's what we call an LPTE, a low probability trading environment. So there's not an awful lot of opportunities for us. We did take nice profits in SMR this morning. SMR jumped up. We got out at $7. That we had put that trade on back on the 11.8. For about 560 to 570, jumped out for 7 this morning. Looking to get back in again, but OKTE does report tonight, as one of the members pointed out, which means that that's in the same space as SMR, so it might be more prudent to wait till tomorrow to re-enter it to see what it does after the earnings occurs. Other than that, really haven't done any trades today because the market's really not doing anything. Well, the crypto stocks are down today. Fairly steep this morning. Mara's down about 4%. Riot down about 6%. And Coin down about 1%. So you think it's pretty common for a few days of LPTE after a huge run up in the SPY? Yeah, of course. That's exactly right. I mean, what typically happens if I look at the SPY chart here on the daily over here, you had this big run up, big gap up on Wednesday, and then a nice move up. Now we're flattening out a little bit. You know, listen, it's human nature. When you get up this high, these people that were down in here, they're taking profits. They're taking profits. So how much is this going to go down? Don't know. This is the 8 exponential moving average, and this is really a good trend line to be able to use. I use it on the 5-minute, and on the daily chart, and this is a nice line to focus on, because it gives us an idea of where that may come back to and then bounce off. When the stock gets away from the 8, that's how I determine if it's extended. This is what I look for. How many standard deviations is it away from the 8 exponential moving average? If you take a stock like Fiserv, which is pulling back today, but is it that bad? See, if you look at the 5-minute chart, it looks awful today. But what you want to focus on is the daily chart, because on your swing trades, that's where you want to be. And you can see that this is a nice bull flag. It's moved up. Volume's dropping off. It's just kind of moving sideways. It's compressing. It's kind of waiting for the 8 to catch up with it. So that's and it's done that before. You can see the move up here and then the pullback. Same thing. Just kind of follows the 8 up. So that's what I look for. And yeah, the SPY definitely is resting. So is the Qs. The IWM taken a much bigger drop than the other two indexes. It's right back to the 8 and sitting right on it. Again, Compass, this is the SPY super system, or the Compass. That SPY super system is actually a methodology we use to trade the SPYs, the Qs, and the IWM off of the 5-minute chart by using the current time frame momentum, telling us that the institutions are going to either go from, that right now it's showing from selling to buying, but you're not going to touch this right now because there's no trend here. It's just flat. You want to join a trend, and we have a pivot point, this white line right above the VWAP, which is the pink line. So this is just wedged in there, so there's no opportunity there at all. You gotta wait for later in the day. This is a dead market right now. QBT going sideways again. Big gap up on this morning, up about 40-something%. Not too much I can say about the market right now. What do I think about Amolex? It broke the 8 to 15. Yeah, it's definitely broken down on the technicals. The thing about Amolex, it's still in a big gap fill, and I'm kind of willing to sit on this for a bit, even though it's down, because it's got the 200 below. But the key thing with Amolex for me is, again, this is a biotech stock, and these things can be really pretty violent. But look at the size of this gap that it's in, and at this point in time, if I'm out far enough in time, and the options aren't that expensive for what I'm in for, so I'm probably just gonna watch this to see if it stays inside this gap, because you get such a big upside potential, and if it bounces back up above the 8 and the 15, I'll buy some more calls further out in time. If you technically it's broken down, so technically you should be taking the loss on it, but I'm not going to do it because of what I just explained. Shai, would I think that Tesla is a good long if and when it bounces off the 8 on the daily? It's got to bounce off that 8 and hold. This is the Tesla trade. Again, Tesla's kind of following the market here recently, and it's very newsy. The stock is very newsy. It went right up to this resistance level right here, and now it's pulled back. And this is the 8 and this horizontal line right here. That's some major support. You need to see it hold that, bounce off of it, head up, and then you would have room up to about 347. And you could trade it off of the 8, but you have to have a confirmation that that 8's going to hold. Tesla has a history of breaking down through these levels. It's very, very newsy stock. It's very volatile, so you have to be careful. I'm right where it is right now. For me, it's in no man's land. I'm not going to touch it there. Really dead market here. Like I said, I talked about doing a butterfly on today on the SPY right around this 596, 597 level is probably not a bad trade because it's cheap, and if the market just continues like this all day, you can get 3-4 to 1 on something like that. I put one on just to explain the butterfly when it was being asked about. What did I do? I did a butterfly on the SPY. I did the 596 as my midpoint. Sold 2 596 calls, bought a 595 call, bought a 597 call. Cost me 19 cents. And it's $1 spread between the midpoint and the next call. So that could go to $1 at the end of the day if the market stays right around 596. They're low. They're good risk rewards, but you've got to be able to hit the strike price. So when you're going out in time, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's really hard because you have to be kind of lucky and have good technical skills to be able to pinpoint where that stock price is going to end at the expiration date if it's a couple of weeks away or even a week away. When the SPY, I'm just doing 1 day, so it only has to end up there today. And I'll probably, something like this, I'll probably set a sell order for, if I paid 19, I'll probably set a sell order for 38. Just take 100%, get out, if it does that. But the butterfly's not going to move an awful lot. Even if the stock's just moving sideways, they're not going to move a lot till later in the day, because it's options that stay elevated until the time decay brings them down long enough or enough to justify the getting some profits on it. Stephen, you cashed a Tesla Butterfly for 100% today that expired tomorrow. That's great. Very nice trade. Very nice. Disney put debit spread rejection off the high cross. VWAP plus 35%. Nice job, Joe. Took half off, and Disney pulled back in here. This morning gapped up and then it's pulled back off of there. Trying to fill a gap right now. think you had my mic off while I was talking about debit spreads. Sorry. Hold on just one sec. Yeah, I saw in the Discord in the live feed on the YouTube mentioning IONQ is a good example, and I actually pointed this one out this morning. If you look at the 5-minute chart on IONQ this morning, it looks awful, and this is the mistake people make when we're trading in IONQ, which we're in IONQ. We're long IONQ, so they say, "Oh, this is a nightmare." No, it's not. Don't even pay any attention to that. This is what you're looking at. You're looking at this daily context of this daily chart here. Move sideways, pulls back to the 8, bounce up. We got a nice volume here, a bull flag. It's the volume starting to come down, stock's moving sideways, kind of waiting for the 8 to catch up with it. This is a beautiful setup for a long. And this kind of, if you get freaked out by this kind of stuff, just automatically look to your daily chart, unless you're just trading an intraday. But if you're trading it on a short-term swing, this is what you want to look at, the daily chart. Focus on the daily chart. That's one of my criteria, and you know, I list this all the time. The criteria that is daily chart and the 5-minute chart need to be aligned in the same direction. If you're going long, you want the daily chart to be bullish, and then you want the 5-minute chart to be bullish when you enter the trade. And it's really not that complicated. The mistake a lot of traders make is they do not look at the daily chart. They look at the 5-minute chart, they base their trades off that, they react to the 5-minute chart without even looking at the whole context of the trade and what the daily chart looks like. It's really, really important. And then of course the compass system or the SPY super system here needs to be, you need to have on the, if you're going long in a swing trade, you need the daily chart needs to show up as bullish. So if I look at IONQ on the daily, switch over to the daily chart here on my super system here, it's all green. The institutions have been buying this thing across the board here. Current time frame momentum, multi-time frame momentum, long-term trend, derivation of money flow, all of these are green. It's nice and long. No reason to be panicked out by a couple of ugly 5-minute candles on this stock. Yeah, that's a good point. So I point that out all the time. In fact, it's interesting. That's the exact example we used this morning because people were freaking out about that 5-minute candle. All right, I didn't answer the questions about call debit spreads and put debit spreads because I had my mic off. Shai, this is what you look for on a. Let's just take a call debit spread. Obviously, the stock needs to be bullish. You need to expect it to move up toward your short call. So if you're doing like $100 and $105 call on Microsoft, buying a $100 call, selling a 105, expiring like on a Friday, then the stock has to be bullish or have to be expecting it to move up. Your technicals have to be good on that. There shouldn't be any. It shouldn't be right up against the 100-day or the 200-day moving average. There could be resistance. You need to have some room to the upside. Then when you take this call debit spread, you buy the $100 call, you sell the 105 $105 call. You've got a $5 spread between your long call and your short call, right? You don't want to pay more than $2.50, and you really want to be paying somewhere in the neighborhood of around $2 and $2.10. If you can get it less than that, it's even better. But a lot of that's going to depend upon how close that $100 call is to at the money. We want our long call to be right around at the money to give us the best price for the premium and the best move that we can get for that whole $5. So that's the most important thing, is make sure you're paying well less than 50% of the spread between the long call and the short call. Same thing goes for the put debit spreads. The long put and the short put, you want to be paid well less than 50% of the difference between those two. That's really important. But it all boils down to stock selection and your technicals as far as reading the charts on those things. So like we took that one the other day that didn't work because we only had a couple of days. It would have worked 3 or 4 days later, but it bounced a little bit. You're reading your technicals on these things, and you're making a decision on the trade based on what your anticipation is what's going to happen. There's the SPY pulling back now. Right off the VWAP, showing a little bit of red. Very, very, very poor trading environment today. As we call it, LPTE, low probability trading environment. Shai, I hope that helped a little bit with on the debit spreads. The straddle we talked about in HEI is working pretty well. And when it was trading at 280, talked about a 280 triangle, taking a 280 call and a 280 put, expiring tomorrow. It's down now to 276. I paid 460 for the straddle on that, the 280 put and the 280 call. Expiring tomorrow is trading right now at 555. So if it gets to 560, I'll probably take profits. Again, it's trading at 276, so it's trading about $4 below my 280 strike. So the 280 puts are in the money pretty nicely right now. The HEI, by the way, the spreads on the options are crazy right now. The 580, the 280 puts are 295 by 590. Yeah. And the 280 calls are 80 cents by $1.45. So big spread. So if you're trying to get out of something like that, you just put your order and just let it sit there and wait. Again, SPY continuing to break down a little bit. This is really slow market. This is really, it's really important to be able to have patience during these kind of situations. Like I said, probably the best trade to take right now, if you want to do some sort of a trade, is to do a butterfly on the SPY and around the pivot, right at the VWAP around 596, or 596, 597, but about a 596. Right, I just took profits in HEI, that straddle, in at 460, out at 560. I could have let it run more and see if it went down more. It might have gone down a lot more, but it could start to bounce back up, which case I would start to have premium come out of that. So again, I'm happy to take 25% in a trade that only lasted about a half an hour. So I'm out of the straddle. And I don't know if you have to worry about it at this point. It's down to 275. It probably would have gone up some more, but the spreads I had mentioned how wide the spreads were. So really difficult. You want to get a price in there that you're happy with. Take the profits, and don't look at your rearview mirror and worry about it. Just take the money and go. again, HEI had huge volume today. It met all the criteria I needed for doing a straddle. Pretty big move up. I was able to get in for a decent price. Again, I paid $460 for it. The ATR in this stock, the average true range, as of right now, is over $7. So I paid $460 for a stock that can move $7 in a day. I'm happy with that. Yes, you understand the mechanics, but the technicals. Well, the technicals are going to be. We have to talk about specific stock when we talk about that. If there's ever one you're thinking of taking, just pop it in there and we'll take a look at it and see. We think again when you don't have a market doing anything, they're a little bit more problematic because of the fact that you don't have any market pushing it for you. So you have to depend on the stock altogether, which means when the market's not moving up, a stock that's moving up, it has a higher probability of turning back down again because there's no market pushing it. So it's the stock that you pick that has to ride up. And again, you want a stock that's showing some really good strength for a long. I mean, you want some volume in it. You don't want any nearby resistance. You want a stock that's marching up. It looks like it's likely to keep on going. But it's other than that, without getting into specific details on a specific stock, it's hard for me to say whether the technicals on any stock is good or bad. I have to look at it. Like trying to do debit spreads today are really tough because there's no market here. The market's not doing anything. I mean, I can look at these stocks that have got relative strength, THS, but even at this, you see how it's moving very, very sideways. Put debit spreads. See HIMs chopping all over the place. You don't really have a lot of confidence that these are going to just continue down. EQT is not bad, except the fact that it's an oil stock, and it's bullish on the daily chart. So you'd be trading the 5-minute chart for put debit spread on it. But the problem is the daily chart looks like that. So that's not really not bearish. So when you're doing the debit spread, you want the daily chart to be bullish if you're going long and bearish if you're going short. Same as you would do for any kind of a swing type trade. Boeing pulling down pretty hard. Boeing's pretty bearish. So for Boeing, for example, I never trade Boeing, but for a put debit spread on Boeing, this is not a bad setup. If we look at the daily on Boeing right here, pretty bearish. So yeah, is it likely to continue down? It looks like it is, maybe for at least for a day or so. What's the 5-minute chart look like? Looks pretty bearish. It's coming down pretty hard. So you're looking at maybe 139, 137 or something like that. Depends on what the strike is, but that would be one that would be a reasonable debit spread in which you probably would wait for it is to bounce up to the 8 and then turn around and start to head back down again and then put your debit spread on there. you're likely to get more bang for your buck, and you're likely to be getting in a position where you're going to pay less for it and have more movement potential. Mayank, SYK straddle. $390 for 445. ATR of 7. Yeah, it has a pretty nice. That's actually a pretty good price on that SYK. You get the 390 for 445. The straddle. 390. Let me look. That seems cheap. Yeah, the calls are 55 cents by 220, so it's possible. 390 on that. 350s for the puts. 220 for the calls. Trading at 408. That's actually a pretty good. That's a pretty good straddle on SYK. Pretty good straddle expiring tomorrow. $4.08 with a potential $7 move. Not bad. Yeah, I like that one. That's a good one. The thing is, it'll be tough to get filled on the SYK because the spread's so big. And you got to try to pick these things off on psych right when it's around 390. Right now it's 389. It's fallen about $1 from there. And, it only has $10 spreads on it, so you have to do a 390. So you got to wait till it gets back up to around 390 and try to put it on there. And but that's not a bad price on it. That's a nice look on that one. But it's going to be difficult to get filled because of the spread was so wide. It's tightening up a little bit right now. That's why SYK, the straddle that that Mayank was talking about. AJ SMR above the VWAP. Yeah, and it's a decent entry right here. I wouldn't take a full position until you see what the stock tonight that is reporting tonight. There's a stock reporting tonight that's in the same industry as SMR. So it's kind of important to see what that does. OKLO is the one that has earnings tonight. OKLO. coming in. SPY just pulled back down, just not going anywhere fast. SMR does look much better now though. SMR, again, if you're going to take SMR again, you got to remember the earnings tonight on a okay low, but it has pulled above the VWAP. Then it's right back down to it again. So I wouldn't put a whole position on, but you could put a partial position on. So that SYK straddle that was called out in the room here by Mayank, SYK straddle, the 390 straddle, that's a good straddle. I appreciate the pointing that out, Mike. That's a very nice straddle on SYK. Again, it may work, it may not work, but 440 for a $7 ATR is really pretty nice. And it was right at the, when you mentioned it was right at the strike price you wanted it to be. It was right at the 390 strike. Nice look on that one. And you don't have to try to get greedy with these things. If you happen to get into SYK for like 440, 445 or something, you know, don't look for big massive gains in the thing because you know it can chop around and it's very widespread. So you have to just put a sell order out there for what you think is the profit you want to take. Let's say you get in at 440, put a sell order in at 540, and be happy with it if you get filled. The other thing on the straddle that was important on what Mike pointed out here in SYK, if we take a look at SYK, when you're looking to do a straddle or a strangle, there's a few things that are really critical. Looking at the daily chart here, first your ATR, you need to know what your ATR is. So you look at the ATR right here, it's running around $7. So you want to try to get in well less than that. If you can get in for half of that or 70% of that, that would be a good one. The other thing that's important is where is the stock trading in relationship to its movement today. You want to try to get in at near the very top of where it is or the very bottom of where you. When you get in, you want it to be near the top or near the bottom. You don't want to do it in the middle. You want to take it something so if it retraces up, you can make a profit, or if it continues down, you're going to make a profit. If you do it in the middle, you've kind of have a small upside and a small downside. So it's going to really exceed the high or exceed the low by quite a lot to get to take your profits on it. But that's a nice setup on SYK. The candle looks really small here today, but the movement is pretty nice, and you can see it's this big candle here flushed down into 389. It might go right back up again. This thing moves back up to 392, 393. You're going to have a nice profit. If it pulls down to about 386, 887, you're going to have a nice profit in it. All right, just to kind of explain straddles and strangles. All right, so let's see if we get any questions over in the YouTube room. Do I use 0DT options for the SPY super system? Let me explain that what I use on the SPY super system. Yeah, if I'm using the SPY, the Qs, the IWM, up until about 12:30, I use current day's expiration, 0DTE. Once 12:30, 1 o'clock comes around, and I'm going to do a SPY super system trade, I always use the next day's expiration date. All right, because I on a compression, if the index compresses or moves down a little bit, I'm going to have time decay drained out of there much too fast if I'm on 0 DTE at that point. So after about 12:30, 1 o'clock Eastern time, I switch over to the next day's expiration. Okay? By trying to do a little bounce. D-Dog, nice, Ali. D-Dog. Yep. Very nice. Let me look at the daily chart again. I have these lines drawn that I spend a lot of time trying to create these lines. These are high volume horizontal lines. See where it went right here, 132, 90. It tried to get through it back here. It couldn't do it. Get up to it today. You gotta watch it. If it gets through there, you got room to about 136.08. But these lines are actually pretty strong. These high volume horizontal lines. So that I'm always aware, be aware of those. So I can determine where support and resistance is a little bit better. They don't always work, but they definitely an indication, because if you get a really high volume at a certain level and it touches more than a few times, the likelihood is that the institutions are in that thing at that level. Altria is 2, MO, Ali, breaking out. Yeah, MO is a nice one. MO is a nice bull flag breakout. Really a nice bull flag breakout on Altria Group. A nice look on this one by Ali. This is a nice one. See the breakout here? See the big volume bar? This is a bull flag. Big volume bar. Volume starts to drop off. Stock just kind of moves sideways. Here's the 8. Remember what happens. Get away from the 8. It comes up to the 8. It comes down to the 8. The 8's moving up. It waits for it to catch up. Now it's moving up. This is a beautiful setup at MO. MO is a beautiful long. Really nice. No earnings till 2/6. That's a really good setup. Nice look on that one, Ali. Really nice. Again, I took profits in the HEI straddle that I did this morning. That worked out pretty nicely. Pretty quick trade. In for 460, out for 560, pretty quickly. Maybe half an hour, 45 minutes or something. Alright, just kind of watching the market, not doing much of anything. And you don't want to try to force any trades today. You know, like doing a butterfly on the SPY is okay, because it's cheap and it can give you a little bit of profitability. It gives you something to keep you interested. The SYK that the bank just pointed out, that's a relative, you know, it's not really inexpensive. It's about $440 a contract for a straddle or a straggle of this thing. A straddle on this thing, the 380, 390 puts, 390 calls, but it's got a much smaller ATR than what you're paying for it. So that's, I mean, a much larger ATR than what you're paying for the actual straddle. So there's the risk reward is definitely worthwhile for that. Might work, might not work, but the risk reward is good. The probabilities are high on it. We're 12:14 right now. For too long, I'm going to grab something to eat. Jonathan, are those lines automated or something I add to the chart? I have to draw those. I have to put those on the charts. It's it's work. I do them on a lot of charts, but it's something that helps me technically. I don't know an awful lot of people that use that particular thing. I mean, I use a thing called algo lines that the institutions use, that I draw on descending and ascending lines connecting candles that the algos used for key levels. I draw those, and then these horizontal lines are based on volume, and they give me some good indications. Nothing's 100%. We all know there's no one indicator is gonna make you a successful trader. You've got to be able to take multiple indicators, use them in conjunction. You've got to be able to understand technical analysis. You have to be able to look at your daily chart and make a judgment as to whether it's contextually a good chart or a choppy chart. Do I want to be in choppy stocks? Not generally not. I want to be in nice, smooth stocks that can be relatively predictable. If I don't know where a stock's going to go, like I don't know where Tesla's going to go right now. So why does it to me? It's a no trade. I'm not going to touch it until I get some indication of some technical levels that I can lean on. Again, for everybody in the YouTube room, YouTube feed over there. Again, this is my SPY super system. I run it. The software runs on Thinkorswim. You can buy this software. I have it on here. This tells me whether the institutions are buying or selling. You see how red this is, red and yellow. The institutions are selling the SPY right now. And this was actually a SPY super system setup right here. If you wanted to take a chance on it, it's hard to do today because there's been no trend. But this was a nice one. You could have made yourself a little bit of money on this, coming off of the VWAP or the 15.
A little more weakness in markets in the Nasdaq and the S&P specifically. Another correction on the Dow.
Q's also coming down, not quite as steep.
Nasdaq still hanging above the close of the day. It couldn't break down the Dow.
But again, it's a very choppy day, not a good trending day. So these SPY super system trades, if you take them, you've got to be taking profits pretty quickly. You have to be fairly passive about when you take profits on these things. Again, the SPY super system, or what's used to be called the compass system right here, with my multi-time frame momentum here, current time frame momentum right here. These are the two important ones I use. This is the one I use for the SPY super system trades, which are off the 5-minute chart using the VWAP and the 15 as support and resistance levels. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for buying, which is blue, to selling, which is red or yellow. We had institutions going from buying to selling right here, and we got a pop out of the box symbol, this pink arrow, a blue arrow, which indicates a break of compression, break below the 15. If you were going to take a SPY super system, this was the perfect place to take it right there. And the market could be waiting for Ed. Ed could be waiting for Powell. I don't think so. I think everybody knows what he's gonna. I don't think there's gonna be any surprises there. I think the market is resting. When you get this big move that we had in the market over the last week, you're gonna get some resting. You're gonna get basically buyers and sellers paired off. You got a bunch of people trying to take profits because the stocks have moved up so much on them. You got a few people, a few traders trying to buy in as on any kind of a pullback, but basically we're just resting, and we've got to see if the SPY gets back down to the 8 exponential moving average or not. But it's a day of rest, just like yesterday was. There's not an awful lot of action going on, and so you just have to be very patient. Don't be trying to press things. Again, things like butterflies or straddles are probably okay to do, but any kind of directional trade for a longer period of time right now, I'm a little hesitant to try to do anything till I see what the market's going to do.
Members on Tesla TSLA, Trump transition plans to kill 7,500 consumer tax credit for EVs. Seeing a little downtick in Tesla TSLA. Just to get a headline on that as well, Tesla representatives support ending the EV subsidy.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab lunch here in a few minutes. When I go to lunch, I'll go ahead and end the YouTube feed. But I appreciate everybody that's been on YouTube today. Thanks so much for coming in here, joining into the room. Get to see what how we use the institutional information coming off the SPY super system or the Compass system to let us know if institutions are buying or selling right now, and very, very helpful. If you know what the institutions are doing, that's going to lead you to take trades at a much higher probability of being successful. And we base all of our trades as high probability trades. We let the institutions tell us what to do, and most of the other retail traders, 99% of them, don't have this information, and we do. Yeah, the Compass system right here, the SPY Super Sim, which you can purchase and put on your Thinkorswim platform. Rightline will put it on there for you for free, but you have to buy the software, and then it will tell you what the institutions are doing. Multi-time frame momentum, current time frame momentum. These are the two most important ones right here. And then we use support and resistance, and we look at the daily chart initially first to make sure that we're trading in the direction of the the stock's trend. Very important. A lot of traders bypass that. They look at the 5-minute chart to trade, and if you're just trading intraday, that's okay. But if you're in a trade and you think you might want to be able to hold it all day long or overnight or a week, you want to make sure the daily chart is bullish. If it isn't, you really can't trade it. Now, the SPY Super System, where we're just trading off of the indexes off 5-minute charts, then we're just interested in this right here. I don't even look at the daily chart for the SPY Super System. I'm just looking at the 5-minute chart. SYK just moving down a little bit, dropped down there from that 390. Again, I had HEI today that is straddle, and HEI made a nice profit in straddle on HEI. Closed out SMR today for $7. Just kind of bouncing around right now. Looking to add, but there's a stock that's traded that has earnings tonight that is in the same industry. So I'm going to wait for the earnings on that for tomorrow. And then take a look at SMR to re-enter for end of December type calls. Ali, would I wait for MO to clear the previous high resistance in April? You're talking about April a couple of years ago. Yeah, the next resistance I have on MO is 57.10, so close to $2 higher, which is actually a pretty good move on MO. I'd like to break out right here as long as it stays above 55.33. I mean, there is some resistance at 57.10. That's like almost 3 years old. But there is some high volume resistance back there. But it's around 57.10. Terry pointing out the IWM is approaching the D1 gap. Yep, sure is. The gap from the big move up last Wednesday. It's 232.50. It's at 233.03. So it's broke through the gap. It has the 15 just below. I mean, when I'm watching this, I'm watching the IWM. Yeah, this is the gap we're talking about right here, between here and here. Pretty big gap, but you've got the 15 right here and some horizontal support lines in there. So just want to be cautious of that. But this definitely is significant that it's breaking into that gap. Nice look on that, Terry. All right, got a lot of noise going on outside. I'm going to go ahead and stop and get some lunch, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the YouTube live feed. But again, thanks everybody on YouTube for coming in. We're here every day. Try to come in. Try to do it around 11 o'clock or so, 11 to 12, 11 to 12:30. And QA, how many positions do I typically manage? Well, in the room, I usually manage no more than 5 or 6. Personally, I have more than that sometimes, but typically I'm only managing 5 or 6. Now on the one we got here, we get this saver. This is a put credit spread. You don't really have to do much management on that. But on the trades that we trade, short-term swings and intraday, we do. Now on the SPY Super Systems, only one at a time. I'm just trading the SPY, the Qs of the IWM. I just trade one of those at a time. And I usually in and out of those things within 2, 3, 4, 5 candles or something like that. That gives people who want to be in the room can't be in all day and we don't have a trade to take for a longer term trade, that gives them an opportunity to take some trades off of the SPY Super System and just focus on those trades while the market's moving. All right, everybody, I'm going to have some lunch. So I'm gonna stop the YouTube feed. Thanks everybody in the YouTube. I appreciate you coming in and watching the broadcast today. Again, we do this every day, 5 days a week. Market open to market close. So very slow day today, but we did have some profits in SMR this morning, a fairly big profit in the SMR, and also I did a straddle on HEI for a nice 25% gain in about 20 minutes or half an hour today. So decent trades, and again, thanks so much for being here, and look forward to seeing you folks back in the YouTube room tomorrow. Have a great one.